So if you're under 18, please don't watch this show. All right, and also, if you're over 18 and you're easily offended, please don't watch this show. I don't want to hear your bullshit.
Welcome to Lock-In.
There's a thing they say here in Australia.
What is that?
That the American is the loudest kid in the room. And there's another saying that I've heard once or twice before, that the empty can rattles the most. And I thought we'd start there.
Yeah.
Jordan's my name.
Yeah, Al.
Al.
Yeah.
Al.
What's
Thanks
up,
for
man?
coming down. What
No
on
worries.
earth sent you from the United States to Australia, being that here we've got a far smaller scene for comedy?
Yeah, well, I didn't come for the comedy. That's for sure. I'll take a fucking guess.
Wife?
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
But we were married 16 years ago. We had two weddings. One was in Australia, and I just was blown away. I was like, we're going to live here someday. And she went, all right.
She's from Australia?
She is. She's from Bathurst.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bathurst girl.
Beautiful.
She is beautiful. I
Was
almost said was, which would have got me in the wrong fucking trouble. She's still.
We can edit that out.
Yes, thank you. She's still beautiful. Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. And originally from, did I hear Boston?
Boston, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Right on. Right
Started
on.
comedy there, and then moved to New York, and then LA, and that's what happened. We were in LA. We had a couple of kids, and I went, I don't want to raise my fucking kids in LA. I just knew a couple of guys who grew up there, and they're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So so we came here, and the lifestyle's a bit better, I reckon.
You don't have a super strong Boston accent.
Nah, I got rid of it.
Got rid of it?
I got rid of it consciously. Yeah, I used to hear us on the news that interview locals on the news, and I go, God, we sound like morons. So
You actively shed your accent.
whilst I was living there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a self-hating, I don't know, but I went, nah.
Oh, it's good, because comedians have that capacity to throw down impersonations, and I think you guys are extraordinarily well versed in taking on other characters, and so maybe that helped.
Maybe it did help. Maybe I'm a fraud.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. A charlatan, maybe.
Maybe,
a
yeah.
fraud, I wouldn't go that
No,
far.
but yeah, I got rid of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
man.
And so I would think that when you're kicking around in the United States,
Yeah.
there's more gigs at your disposal. However,
Definitely.
down here, not so many, but maybe they're creamier.
No, they're not even creamier. I mean, they're the same. It's the same. You know, you guys have a great sense of humor in Australia. There's no real gap there. It's just the shit that I grew up with. I can't. I have to think because I can't make childhood references.
Right.
Because the shit that I grew up
Like
with.
shooting bears and...
Yeah, exactly. And shooting anybody for that matter. Just shooting in general. Yeah. School shootings, hospital shootings. Yeah. You can't.
Hospital shooting.
I just made that up. It's probably going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a matter of time. Just imagine some guy kicking in a hospital door, just shooting sick people.
We are kind of inheriting, and this has been a chat, it's gone on for a number of years,
Yeah.
that Australia kind of bit by bit inherits the American culture.
I have noticed that. I got to say, because I visited for the first time in 2002, and I fell in love with Australia. And I've come back almost every year until I moved here in 2014. And every year it was a bit more American, and it made me a bit sadder, to be honest with you. Because I
Right.
loved the difference. It was just, you guys were so laid back, and now there's a bit more that American sort of go get 'em, like, you know, you got to claw your way to the top.
Yeah.
And I feel like, nah, just stay Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I loved about this place.
We do have one thing that it's kind of like a bittersweet pill. It's a negative. It's also a positive, and it's a thing called the tall poppy syndrome.
I've heard of this, yes.
Yeah, right. Where if any of your friends get too good at what they do, or perhaps like garner a little bit of fame, we chop them down quite quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, nah, it's not cool. Let's all be on the same level and all be have a beer as equals at the pub.
Yeah.
However, in the United States, you get under each other. You're the wind beneath each other's wings.
Well, I gotta say, the tall poppy thing is very Bostonian as well.
Really?
Yeah, all the comics that come out of Boston were very much like, nah, fuck you.
Really?
You're still a cunt.
Is it a known term over there?
No, but it's what we do. It's just
Yeah,
like,
right.
we tend to just be like, nah, you're not special. Like,
I dig it. I think
Yeah.
I think it's healthy. Maybe it's just because I'm from Australia.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it is healthy. I think it is. But you're right. We do, there's this, positive, like, oh, we need to, good for you and your dreams. And I tend to go, no, fuck you. Like, I mean, yeah, you did it, but what? What'd you do? Like, you know. Honestly.
You're not better than me.
Exactly, and that's a very Bostonian saying, like, you think you're better than me? And maybe that's why I like it here in Australia, because it's one big Boston. Because Boston obviously was settled by the British, so was Australia. So I think we have a lot of stuff in common. Like, I call a water fountain a bubbler, and you guys do too.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
That's one of those things that stuck around from the British. I didn't mean to make you sad.
Well, look, a sudden dark cloud just came over me.
Bubbler.
Isn't that what comedians do?
What?
Well, they're
Make
not meant to,
people
that's for
sad?
sure. No, I think they make themselves sad.
Yeah.
I mean, don't they kill themselves all the
Yeah,
time?
yeah, we're sad folk. It's becoming cliche almost, but we are. We're sad clowns. Yeah.
I guess
The attention is
maybe
what
that's the method to your madness, and
It
we
is.
all appreciate the fact that you exist and the fact that it takes a fucking ton of balls to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, insanity
does.
maybe. I don't know.
It's a drive. It's like I started to equate it with being alcoholic or even being gay. It's like it's the way I was born.
Well, then I can completely relate to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down,
Dude, no
brother.
worries. I had a good
Cheers,
time.
man.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
Alison Michalk. Michalk? That's better. There's ownership
Aussie, you know,
on there.
Michalk.
Michalk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say business without killing the human spirit. However, before we get to there, music journalist, you also started the publication Blunt, then followed on to be Frenzal Rhomb's tour manager, and have now become like online community, social media, kicking at feminist mogul. Like, what the fuck?
It's been quite a journey, but there is a bit of a through line there, which is, you know, probably, well, I don't know, not working for the man, being the man. So, yeah, definitely my music, punk stuff really influenced the way that I do business now.
But what an amazing thing, because I think a lot of what we know is, or what we assume to know, is anyone that kind of gets into that industry, like later on media with social media, or, you know what I mean, online gaming, or whatever kind of, you know, context that is, you kind of have to have your marketing degree behind your economics or have come from that place. So to meet someone who's total kick-ass and has come from the music industry from the ground up, like, that is rad. And where, like you just said, your values, like how have you gotten there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I still see the internet as being a place where, you know, marginalised and disenfranchised people and stuff can come together. So I sort of have a bit of a socialist slant on what the internet's original purposes are for. So that's sort of where my love of online communities comes from.
Okay.
And then definitely working the music industry for so long, it's influenced the way that I do business, in the sense that I sort of joke all my employees are like, you know, corporate refugees and misfits and things like that. So I've got lots of kind of ex-music industry people, but lots of other people that have just gone, like, the way the current model is fucked. You know, like the corporate, you know, structures and stuff are just, yeah, often not nice places to work. So that's something I feel like I've been able to influence running a business. I've only got a team of 22, but it's still nice to impact 22 people's lives positively.
Yeah,
so,
but it's clearly doing bloody well. Like, do you see that Australia has this tendency to leaning towards American standards? Like, people, instead of going for a pay rise, they'll ask for a better job description. Like, that's messed up. And people are like bragging about doing the 80-hour week. Like, what is that about? And how do you find you and your company are changing that?
Yeah, well, I think most people that work for me work pretty flexibly, so I don't really care when people work or what times they work. It's just really output based. So I think that flexibility is a big part of what people are kind of looking for. But, you know, we've had staff that lived in 20 countries over over 20 months. So lots of people that like travel or are studying or just like doing other stuff. They're like musicians or things like that. So I think recognising that, you know, work is only part of your life. Like, I think that it's foolish to expect it to be more to people, even though they can love what they do. But I mean, we have lives, right? So, like, every year with our staff, we say, what are you trying to achieve in your personal life, and how does that work with work? Like, how can we help that happen for you? So, yeah, it's, you know, I just think it's like a privilege to be able to have that impact.
Do you
on
think
people.
that's the key point to your success? The fact that you understand, particularly coming from the kind of woman that you are, and I'm not saying that the kind of woman that basically everyone is, but often when we go into the workforce or any kind of career, we kind of pretend we're not. Like, you know, when you're going for any kind of job, you're like, no, this is all I do, this is all I like, this is all I want to be. And you kind of push aside whether you're an aspiring actor, a musician, a journalist, a writer. But you've seemed to single-handedly in Australia coin that, like, amazing movement. Like, no, do you know what? we're all these other things as well. And by doing all these other things as well, we're going to be doing this thing with much more imagination and passion because we have lives outside this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of talk about like bring your whole self to work, but I don't think that really happens. It's just like a phrase that gets used, but I think we sort of do it a lot more and everyone works from home, and I don't know, I think that's just easier to do in the setting that we have because I'm real and open about the stuff that I'm going through in my personal life or whatever, so that encourages other staff to know that they can and go, you know, I'm having a really shitty week, or this thing happened, or I'm having mental health issues, or whatever it is. So it's just about, you know, being a little bit more real. And, you know, I don't know if that's a gendered approach to leadership. Like, I think about that sometimes and I wonder if it is. But, yeah, you know, it's just a better way to do business.
No, agreed. And I also agreed on the agenda side of it. Now, with that in mind, what have you noticed have been the almost surprising biggest hurdles or difficulties in getting to the stage where you are now with your business?
Oh, God. Well, I started the business when my baby was 3 weeks old, so I don't really know what I was thinking there. But so that was a pretty tough start, but we did end up getting this government contract that went for 4 years. But, you know, there was a lot of crazy hours, but I was like awake breastfeeding at all hours of the night and stuff like that. So it was pretty full on for the first couple of years. And we work on a lot of cool campaigns like reducing domestic violence, and we work with a lot of non-profits, so like Beyond Blue and Sane and Movember. So we deal with a lot of like suicidal type content and communities and stuff, so there's pretty challenging stuff in there, but look, I mean, I just think as a small business there's always challenges, like, because you're never doing enough and you've never got enough money to do enough, so yeah, it's been difficult, but it's in a good spot now.
That's a great visual as well of you like breastfeeding and laptoping.
Yeah, I was literally doing that. It was like 3 a.m. shifts and
like
the staff would be like, why are you
god.
awake? And I'm like, I'm feeding, you know.
Furnace and the Fundamentals, absolutely stoked to have you down. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, cheers. First thing that jumped to mind when I first heard of the act was the name, the title, Furnace. It absolutely has to be the best frontman name in the history of frontman.
Can we call you Fern?
Fern?
You can call me whatever you want. I'm cool with it if you want. Yeah, I mean, it came from literally my brother's mates. They just one day started calling me Furnace. I was like, okay, great. And then, like, literally for about 8 years, my brothers have only ever called me Furnace. They don't call me my given name anymore.
Did the name dictate your stagecraft? Because you personify fire to me, and I would think for a large number of the audience also. You're a fiery cat.
Right. Well, I mean, I never mentally made a connection.
Not so much in the beginning.
No, like you just get used to being on stage, and like I've always been a pretty energetic guy, and so that's kind of what I wanted to do. It's just me, I guess.
Right on. You truly do seem to be the ultimate party band here in Australia. And another thing that I was wondering was whether, and I know you've played in a number of huge shows here in Sydney. Certainly recently, selling out the Enmore was a very impressive feat, I thought, for essentially a covers band.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're not a covers band, are you?
Well, I mean, technically we are, but yeah, like we like to think of ourselves as going beyond that. Like it's about putting on a show. You know, the groundwork. Yeah, the groundwork is we play covers music, but we sew it all together in a way that makes it feel different. We take people on a bit of journey, and then we have a show aspect, which, you know, takes it to another level. We like to think. And makes it a big party and just a spectacle, as Stevie said. Yeah.
Are the bulk of your shows private? Because I've heard a whole bunch of chat about big corporate numbers buying you out.
It's a great way of funding the band. So if we're going to be able to make money that way, it's like we'll do it, but we'll never promote that we're on offer.
Of course.
But people always want to do it, so you know if the price is right, we do it.
Okay. So you're prostitutes, is that what we're saying?
But then it means when we do something like the Enmore, like we did, we can spend a lot of money and not worry so much about making money from the show. We can spend, we can make that money back the next night. So we can spend money on visuals, you know, building a flying carpet like Marcus did for us. You know, all this different stuff like choreography, costumes, you know, pyro, whatever.
So it's basically like a theatre performance.
Kind of. That's
it's
what
turning into that.
Yeah.
Turning into that. And then the music, it's almost like, you know, you go see like We Will Rock You, the musical, except without all the terrible dialogue in between the songs. We just play all the awesome music. And there's it's a visually pleasing show. We like to think.
Yeah. If you
and
don't want
high
to
energy.
dance, you can enjoy it. Is the idea, but the idea is also that you're partying. But you can just watch it. So
And do you
it's
notice a difference in that? So when you're playing your private shows
Yes.
to theatre performances
Yes,
like
there is a
that,
big difference.
yeah, I think people are definitely more engaged if you've got a full-on show going on.
And because they know us now, they come to see us. It's a bit more like
Yeah.
we're an
It's not a
originals
surprise.
band. Yeah. Like they come and they're there to watch you.
They're all
whereas
fans, you know.
Yeah, exactly. They're fans. Whereas sometimes on a private thing, it depends on the gig, but sometimes it's like they just want to dance. They couldn't give a shit who you are.
Yeah.
And so
But they're happy that we're
yeah,
us.
but you know, we still do that well. So you know, we're successful in that regard. But yeah, we prefer the playing to people who actually want to engage with you, and because you get to do more. Really, it's more fun for us.
And I guess the fact that you've made the effort recently to throw down little touchstones outside of Australia, and you've been cooking around Europe recently. I can only imagine that the disease is going to spread further, and I absolutely cannot wait to see it all go down. I've got 100 more questions for you, but I don't want to bore you with all this shit because I know you're on your way off to a wedding somewhere. A wedding, or maybe a corporate, or maybe something else.
He's just stereotyping.
Why you just lump us in like?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, you got to load in somewhere real soon.
The UK was fun because we didn't realise how many people knew us over there.
Right.
We were like, we got taken over with Hot Tub Time Machine for the Edinburgh Festival. He was doing that, like, it was apparently the biggest show they've ever done in the Edinburgh Festival. So it was 7,000 each night, and basically what was like a hangar at the airport. And because we were over there doing that, we're like, well, while we're here, let's do something else. And we're like, maybe we'll get 50 people to a London show if we just book our own show. And we sold out the first show like that.
Really?
That was a small show. It was 150 people. Yeah. So we booked another one, 100 people to that. And then we booked a third one. It was 200 people to the third one. So London, we managed to get this like great solid base. So when we go back, we'll just do one bigger show. That way we can do more production elements. And then we toured around with a club night called Propaganda, and they took us to like Unitown. So it was all. We did about 13 shows in 20 days.
Wow.
Well, I really appreciate the way that you guys are kind of rewriting the book, and that you're making what would essentially be considered a covers band, a feature thing, and what most people would throw in the same category as an original band that you absolutely have to see. And I thank you so much for spending your time with us on a Saturday morning.
guys.
And rock and roll, gang. Cool. Cheers, man. Fuck yeah.
All right, on. Thanks, buddy.
Good evening and welcome to Cooking with Madison. Now you may be a little confused why we're actually in a bar as opposed to the kitchen, especially after Madison's killer porcini risotto last week.
Stop
Seriously.
Stop it.
I mean, did you grow the fungi in your basement or what? That was Dubai.
Oh, well, I grow a lot of things in my basement.
Now, following that dinner, you may remember our friend Margaret. She's a little heavy on the, and she actually hit the bottle quite hard.
Did she hit the bottle or did she multitask?
Oh, Madison.
With the bottle.
Oh
Modern
my
women these days, there is no holding back. No holding, but she did go a little too far. We got a call from our dear friend Margaret from the A&E department. Lovely girls they are.
There's no judgment.
No judgment.
But what
No
we wanted
judgment.
to draw attention to the audience is this is actually a common problem, and it's not just over a civilised dinner party. This is happening all the time.
Absolutely, because it goes against, what you intuitively think, it should happen. You think, oh, I'm just going to baby step, just dip my toe into the water there, but oh no. Next thing you know, your vagina has been literally sucked inside out.
Sucked inside out into the funnel of a bottle. Now, once Margaret managed to dig her vulva out of the contents, I think it was San Pellegrino, or did she use the Dom Perignon?
Oh, look,
we'll get back to you on
partial
that.
for the champagne.
She is a partial for the
She is
champagne.
partial.
Now, Madison, can you just exactly talk us through what happened to Margaret and her common mistakes so our viewers don't suffer the same downfall?
Well, exactly right. So we all know you've been at a wonderful dinner party. Everything's gone very well, and you decide you need a little bit of a stiffy to end the night. But you can't find that anywhere.
Not just a whiskey, right?
Whiskey doesn't do the job, does it? Not like mineral water can. But you see, safety first, right? You have a look at the bottle top, and I like to.
Sharp.
Exactly right. That's a vaginal grater. So you do remove it. No one wants to grate out their cervix,
No,
right?
that's not a word you want inside your vagina.
No, you do not. No. So you remove it, and you clearly. I would drink the contents myself personally, but you can just empty it. Doesn't matter. And then you basically sit on it.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Yes, and you think what could possibly go wrong there? That's not much of a girth, right? But the problem is our vaginas are living muscular mechanisms. So it actually grips hold, and with the lubrication, because who doesn't get turned on looking at this? Right. That actually creates a suction cap, which
goodness.
turns the inside of the bottle into a vacuum.
Oh, horrendous.
Well, I like to think that's why these have all got recyclable on it, because you can use it for another purpose.
And what is that?
Well, you can just put your...
Oh, I see where you went
Could
there.
you imagine I'm going to, what can we do when we're on our periods?
Yeah,
Maybe
listen,
set this up.
surely as well, the fact that it's glass, is that not the risky problem here, that it could break?
Oh, well, no. I think that these type of bottles, if you're going to, say, insert this into your anal passage and then sit down on it, perhaps with your body weight it will break, but these are actually quite solid.
Okay.
As you would know, the number of times we've dropped bottles and
Slippery fingers here.
slippery fingers, and it's totally fine. You just pick it up quickly, 5-second rule. It doesn't break.
And so
that's
how-
not the big thing. It is about the vacuum seal and the suction that ends up happening.
And so what happens? You get it in and then you're like, okay, it's gone too far. And people then panic and they try and tug it on
right,
out.
because who wants to go to the A&E to say, I accidentally sat on a bottle?
I mean, there is many
having
a
a bit of
story
a
you could
problem.
say. Often I've been cleaning and, you could say I fell on my shopping or I slipped.
Exactly
But
right.
maybe they've heard
I
them all
didn't
before.
know. Yes, but but my biggest concern is, how do you actually get from the kitchen to the A&E with a bottle hanging out of your vagina?
It is a problem.
How do you sit down? You'd have to just...
Now, Madison, can you just tell us we've got a beautiful bottle of Don Juliano tequila here. This was lovely.
Yes.
Brought it back from...
And who doesn't find this attractive? Because I just
gorgeous.
personally, as a size queen, I want to see how far I can get this inside me.
Production have also given us a very dusty, disgusting magnum of champagne, which I'm just going to put that in the no pile, all right? Or at least give it a wash.
Well, I
first.
think there's a lesson here for everyone, right? Because this is covered in dust. And this, we can actually link back here to this beautiful, attractive bottle that I think I may be taking home with me, just for science. Just for
We're
science.
going for the condom?
Well, safe sex, right?
Okay,
safe
wonderful.
Sex. So what I would do, because this gorgeous but dusty bottle has had its top removed, it's going to create a vacuum inside.
And that's a whole lot of vagina that can go
Exactly
inside
right.
that, I
yes.
understand.
So with the type of bottle where we want to start with the smaller part first, we want to make sure that the cap can still be on it so that we don't create a vacuum inside. And then to make sure, because a lot of the caps are sealed with wax, which is porous. And porous means bacteria has a little bit of a colony in there, and we don't want to make anything inside our vaginas unnecessarily.
Yeah, there's not enough probiotics in the
fish
world.
colonies need to multiply.
So you recommend, and also I'm
Yes.
imagining it would keep the cap on, because
Well,
we don't want to lose that.
Well, exactly right, exactly. So
You're just going to pop that on.
There we go. See.
Look at that.
Oh, look, and it's ready already. See,
And you're
it's,
ready to go. Isn't
ready
that
to
lovely?
go.
Now, obviously,
Safe.
I mean, we have some vessels here. You can see that I do like my tequila.
That is, yes.
This can be used for many options, but I'd say a vase. More of a vase for this
Oh
one.
no, see, I would still put that inside.
Well, it's good to have friends with mixed hobbies.
It takes all kinds. But my biggest thing, if we do just have a bottle like this, which is the most common type of bottle to
Yes.
find in your home after a good night, and you have taken the cap off because you don't want to grate your vagina open with the serrated edge, the way we actually insert these bottles is this way.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yes, and it's amazing once you get it inside.
Wow.
Yes, because the vagina, once it starts to open up, it fills up with blood, and you feel things that you didn't even know were in there.
The term filling up with blood doesn't always spar the most romantic images, but I'm going to
but
trust
see,
you on
darling,
this,
that's
Madison.
all an erection is, really. Everything about the arousing body is just about filling things up.
This woman is just phenomenal. I hope, viewers, you've brought something from your dinner party, and you can take something to your dinner party on this wonderful depiction of dildos in the kitchen. And Margaret, you know, rest easy. I hope you got the fruit basket. I know you're allergic to kiwis. We left those out.
Well,
but next
we
time, call
sent you
ahead.
a lot of cucumbers because safety first, Margaret. We understand it's going to be a bit boring in hospital, but
and you don't have to julienne them all,
yes,
darling.
we've got your back.
No one likes an overachiever.
Yes.
Thank you and good night.
Load up on guns and bring your friends. It's fun to lose and to pretend. She's overboard and self-assured. Oh no, I know a dirty word. Hello, 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 hello. With the lights out, this is dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers. I feel stupid, acting dangerous. Here we are now, entertainers. I'm a lighter and a bottle, a mosquito, and a beetle. Yeah. But there's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out and I'll lay your ship bare. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart and soul in your hand. As we played it to the beat, we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep, you have my heart and soul in your hand. And we played it, we played it, we played it, we played it to the beat.
Struggle not me to hear myself on this.